how to construct the day. It seems there is a very basic cycle of doing things, which repeats itself infinitely until it does not. I have observed this cycle in myself now hundreds, possibly thousands of times. And so here is how it goes. I wake up. If I need to go to the toilet, then this is one slot. The first slot would be at the end of an ultradian high. If I wake up, I now have already medium to high cardiovascular energy, but my mental energy is now the highest. So if I do want to do any kind of cognitive work, I need to do it in between waking up and physical exercise. As soon as I start exercise, I deplete both my cardiovascular or physical energy, but also my mental energy. The guardian of sleep is the cardiovascular energy. If the cardiovascular energy is below a certain threshold, or I crash my orexin system, maybe by eating gluten or by having pollen allergy in summer, thus I draw more cardiovascular energy by stressing my body through means that are not workout, then I also already reached the threshold for falling asleep maybe earlier. This also means sleep, if ideal, now restores both cardiovascular as well as mental energy. It seems that usually I reach my cardiovascular high either after eating the first time or 8 to 12 hours after waking. So if I need to do mental work, I therefore wake up, do the mental work. As soon as I eat, I afterward would have metabolic stress, which I can reduce by working out. And luckily, after eating, my cardiovascular energy is now also in the daily high, at least one of the daily highs. And since cardiovascular workouts seem to now release or draw cortisol, which then again, through pattern recognition, is pulsed at the same times of the day, and the day now, as observed by the body via sunlight, light temperature and intensity, and position within the year, which, according to Andrew Huberman, is calculated based on light temperature and intensity compared to the last days. So, if I want to be at peak mental energy, I can either sleep really well once a day, but because it seems to make sense to standardize the day, it's almost as if I need to do cardio as well as strength training within a day, because otherwise the days of my week would be so different that the cortisol pulses also over time would be different, or in other words, the body would not really find a very consistent pattern. I did get my body my weekly workout plan, but this only seems to work if for weeks I live almost exactly the same workout plan. If there are only a couple of deviations in nutrition, in sleep, and in the workouts, the system of cortisol pulses, due to a lack of good pattern recognition, seem to then become more and more random, as the body simply cannot figure out what one is trying to do. So if I want to have high mental energy a couple of hours after waking and after maybe the first workout, which maybe I need to do, then I need to nap in the middle of the day. Because otherwise I don't have sufficiently high mental energy. Because the longer I'm awake, and especially after a workout, the more drained